Just checking to make sure that the stream works correctly. Hello, hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Just checking to make sure that the stream works correctly. Hello, hello, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, it looks to be good. We're not dropping any frames. We have good connections, 6,100 kilobytes per second. Very nice. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So in this video, we're going to continue the process of demonstrating the use of Gregg shorthand or shorthand in general, but in this instance, in the particular instance, it's going to be Gregg Anniversary Edition shorthand in the the purpose here is to demonstrate how it would be possible to use how it would be possible to take the skill, albeit obsolete skill of Gregg, and apply it to something like taking notes. Okay. Now the textbook or the book that I'm using as my source material to demonstrate the copywork is Sonke Ahrens' How to Take Smart Notes, and the book, it was published in 2017, and this is the 2022 reprint. If you are interested in getting yourself a copy, and I would highly recommend the book, then go ahead and take a look in the description below this video, and it'll take you to an Amazon purchase link, in which you are able to access it. And it also gives me a little bit of a commission, so that if you want to support your boy with this effort, and want to pick up a great book for yourself, go ahead and take a look at that link down below. There's also a link, if you want, to the Wacom Tablet that I use. It's also on Amazon. I use the Gunnar glasses. That works really well. So that is pretty much it. Hold up, let me just grab this over here. Bada boom, bada bang. Set this up. Come on. There we go. All right, so anyway, like I said, all the links are down below in the video. So if you want to take a look at the website that I use for making or for showing the Gregg forms, it's down there. If you want to learn how to use Zernal, or if you want to take a look at the note-taking app that I use, Zernal is also down below. I use, in fact, in the first portion of this video, I'm going to show how to make your own forms and then add them. So I have GIMP, which stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. The link is down below in the video for that. And then I have Inkscape as well, located down below. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. Also, I have a link down below to my Ko-fi and Patreon pages in case you are interested in supporting me. So with that, let us proceed. So as I said, I am going to create the forms for Gregg shorthand, and I usually wait to add forms to the dictionary until I've accrued a few, maybe like 10, 15. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have 18 forms to add to the dictionary, and it goes pretty quickly. But the process that I go through is I create a raster image in GIMP, and then I export the raster image, which is its pixels essentially. And hold on, I'm going to move this to the top. I then take the pixelated version and convert it into a vector format. That's what Inkscape is used for. And then once I have the vector, then I export as an SVG. I then take that SVG, upload it to the website, where it can then be viewed and accessed readily enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first word on the list is amorphous. Okay, so for that, got this pulled up over here, and we take amorphous. So more, and then from there we go amorphous. and then fus. So that's F, fus. Fus would be F-O-S. F-O-S, amorphous. Okay? So we'll go A, more, fus, like so. We go ahead and then select the file or select the stroke with using select by color, which is Shift-O on GIMP. We then cut the value and we paste the value over in Inkscape. There we go. And then you trace the path using Alt-Shift-B. This opens up your dialog window for opening the file. We then apply the change. And if you see my if you see the video that everything is backwards, the reason for that, oh, and I need to fix the layout for GIMP. Let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, that had gotten resized. I hadn't realized that. So let's go ahead and resize the window here. Oh, I see, I see. All right, that's okay. Leave that there, leave that there. Boom. Go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so you can see the window on that side, window on this side. All right, there we go. That's more like it. So, as you see, all of your text is going to be backwards. The reason for that is because I do all of my shorthand left-handed format, or mirrored format is the other way to look at it. So normally in Gregg, you're going to do all of your word formation in the same way you would with any sort of Western language, which is on the left-hand side of the page, and you work across to the right-hand side of the page. This is because if you're a right-handed shorthandist, then you're dragging the pen across the page, and it's very efficient. It's designed to be as ergonomically sound as possible. I'm left-handed, and so therefore the benefits of dragging the pen across the page are null and void if I use the traditional method for working with Gregg shorthand. So in my case, what I do is I take the exact same form and I invert the form. This enables me to then pull the outline across the page. Okay. So, and that's also why, if you take a look at my website, which once again is down below in the description of this video, it's called Word Lookup. Hold on. The full name is Word Lookup for greggstrokes.onrender.com. You'll see that you have the option of shifting the forms back and forth. You have mirrored option and normal option. And what that enables you to do is, whether you are a left or a right-handed Gregg practitioner, you are able to use the dictionary. All right. So now, with that being said, let me go back to Inkscape. Right over here, and I've created the path, and then I'm going to export the path, and this one was amorphous. Amorphous. Okay? Amorphous. Oh, and I need to make sure that it is saved as .svg. All right, amorphous.svg, and now I can go ahead and close this window. I'm going to go back over. Let's see here. I'm going to go back over to GIMP, deselect the cut, and I'm going to deselect the cut, and now I'm going to add supermarket. So for this, we get to use a handy little prefix called the super, and then it's MR. Super MR. Like so. All right. Now I do need to confirm, because this always gets me. I need to check the super, which direction the S goes. And it does. It curves towards the beginning of the line of writing. Okay? Curves towards the beginning of the line of writing. So now I'm going to select the outline, cut the outline, go over to Inkscape, and paste the outline, convert into a pathway, apply the change, and once I've applied the change, I then go to the SVG name, and this one is called supermarket. All right, supermarket.svg. close the file down, go back over to GIMP, open that up. Supermarket. Now we go to sophisticated. Sophisticated. Okay. Sophisticated. So for this one, we have to go with sophisticate. And for this, we're going to go over to the dictionary and take a look at sophist. So we have sophistry, sophisticate, and we need sophisticated. Which, oh yes, so I'm going to rewrite sophisticated, as you see it just pulled up in the dictionary. And the reason for that is what my mouse is hovering over right now. The reason for that is because the disjointed T is not really necessary in this instance. We can simply add it to the pre-existing stroke value, okay? So let me go back into GIMP, and we're going to do sophisticate. So we go soph, like so, and then sticate. Sticated, like that. If we take a look, and that would be the form for sophisticated, all right? We select the file, or I should say we select the path. We cut the outline. We paste the outline over in Inkscape, and we convert it into a path. Once we have the path, we then export. Like so. Sophisticated. All right. It already exists. We do indeed want to replace it, so we go ahead and replaced, and now we're going back to GIMP, and we just continue. So it's a quick process, really streamlined by this point. Next one is going to be self-regulation. So self is like super in that it is an S. It's an S format. It simply curves in the other direction. So self-regulation is self-reg. Self-reg. We're going to make the G just a little longer. As you see, a G stroke takes two lengths of the line. Gregg is all about the length of the line, so we go like so. That it would be self-regulation. Go ahead and select the value. We cut the value. We paste the value. All old forms by now, in case anyone has ever seen these streams, then we know that every once in a while we have to do this process. So we go self-regulation.svg, all right, and we're going to go ahead and export that value. I'm going to go ahead and close the window, go back over to GIMP. Next one is going to be ruse, all right? So let's do a ruse. Okay, where is that? Ruse. Boom, 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 boom. Where are you at? Okay. So for ruse, we're going to go over to the dictionary, and I'm going to check for anything that has ruse. Okay. And so we have peruse and abstruse. So we get to use the ending ruse, and there's really no special way. It's not really necessary to have as a brief form, and so therefore we do the whole name, which is ruse, like that. All right. So we go ruse, like so. We select the value. We cut the value. We paste the value, like so, and then we export the value. Apply the change, turn it from a pathway or from a raster image into a vector image, and now we have ruse.svg. Go ahead and close the file down. We go back over to GIMP. Next one, etc. So etc., this is the one where we were going to do ETS. So it was going to be ETS. ETS for etc. And grab that value, paste, we apply the change, export, as etc for SVG, and it's also going to be, we're going to do it for both et and then et cetera. And this one would be a phrase, right? The Latin phrase et cetera. Okay? In case anyone ever looks for it. Oh, it already exists. Do we want to replace it? Had I already made one on accident? Let me check. Et se. Oh, look at that. Etc. had already been made. Well, I like mine a little better, so I'm going to use it. We're going to apply the change, and yes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close without saving. Go back over to GIMP. Next. Next one is potentiation. So for this, we're going to go ahead and pull up potentiate. Potentiate. And we're looking at potentially, potential, potentiation. So we're going to do potentiation. So we're going to do the first one, which is potential, and we're going to go potentiation, okay? So for shiation, that one is going to be, we're going to use a circle. So we're going to go potentiation, like that. All right? That one would be potentiation. Potentiation. We select the value, cut, paste, convert to a path with apply, and then we export the path as potentiation in lowercase. Potentiation. Potentiation.svg. Export. Close down. Close without saving. Boom. Go back over to GIMP. Same thing. So now we're going to do theoretical. Theoretical. So we're going to go over here to the pencil, and we go we're going to do theory, right? Let's see if they have, what sort of THEO forms they have. Theo. We have theorize, theosophy, theorize, theorist, theory, theoretical. What we could do is we would just do theory and then cul ending. So if we do the first portion, which is theory, all right, so we're going to go ahead and do undo, theory, and then what we need is to look up the tickle. So we go back to the dictionary and we type in tickle. All right, and as you see, these are the different forms. So we have critical, we have practical, theoretical, so tactical, vertical, identical, all these different forms. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the disjointed K stroke in order to get theoretical. Like so. All right, so we grab the value, we cut, we paste, bada boom, bada bang, we export, we apply the changes, and then we go in here, and this is theoretical.svg. All right, close this down, close without saving, run on back over to GIMP, and next one is going to be methodological. So methodological, we needed method, and then it was going to be methodic, and then jacol. So methodic, and then col. So we're going to do method, which is MTD jic col. Methodological. All right, so this is methodological, and then there is a logical, so it's methodological, and we are just making the O stand for the L and the O. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. This is methodological. methodo, and then this one would be logical, and then ical ending, okay? And with that, what that essentially does is it keeps us from running into the problem of it keeps us from running into the problem of working with methodical. Methodical would be method and then ical. And so this one does methodological. Okay? So with that, let's go ahead and cut the value. We then paste the value. We export. We apply the changes. And here we go. So this is methodological. 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 All right? .svg. Close the value. Go back over. Undo. And the next one is laptop. Nice and easy. So we go from methodological to laptop. Pretty funny. So we're going to go to laptop, so we're going to go to L. We have lap, and then top, like so. Laptop. We cut the value. We paste the value. Oh, and it looks like I accidentally turned off the viewing, so we'll go ahead and grab this value. We paste it again. Boom, there we go. Alt-Shift-B, we apply the change. This is laptop once again. This is the pathway, and we're going to do laptop.svg. Close the value. Go back over here. Open. Next one is gist. Gist, as in the gist of something. So we go gist. Like so. Cut the value. Paste the value over here. All right. We apply the changes once the raster has turned into a vector. We then go to gist.svg, close the page, and we go back over to GIMP. Now we have completeness. Complete. Okay, so for this we need complete, which is going to be, so it's actually one that we did today, wasn't it? So we go completeness. So we go completeness, like so. Try that again. Completeness. The value, and we paste the value. Okay, Alt-Shift-B. Apply the change to turn it into a pathway. We export the pathway as completeness. SVG. Close. Without saving. Back over to GIMP. We then have shortcut. Shortcut. So, and this is hyphenated as well, I think. So we go shortcut. Like that. So once again, shortcut. Like so. Try it again. Here we go. All right. So we cut the value, we paste the value, and that is shortcut. Alt-Shift-B, we apply the change, we export the change as shortcut.svg, and I also want to check to see if this is a hyphenated word. So we go back over here, we're going to search for, oh, are we a little spotty? Hold on, let me see. Where's it at? For, oh, are we a little spotty? Hold on, let me see. No, it looks okay. All right, so let's go in here and we're going to look up, see if it's a word shortcut. And shortcut is indeed, yeah, it's a single word. Is it also hyphenated? Just checking. No, it's not hyphenated. It is, yes, it is a single word. All right, so we'll go ahead and leave it then. Let's go ahead and go back over to where this was already exported. So we can go ahead and close without saving. And we're going to go over here to GIMP, open that up. And next one is disconfirming. Disconfirming, okay? So this one is pretty simple. We do a try that again. Disconfirming. Try that again. Deselect everything. And we're going to go disconfirming. Disconfirming. We select this page, or we select the stroke, export. We apply the changes. Good to go. So this is disconfirming.svg. Yes, we do want to replace it because we wanted to attach the form. So we can go ahead and close it now. That's disconfirming and disconfirm. Had we done disconfirm as well? Alt-Shift, hold on, undo. And let's go ahead and select this value. This one would be an example of disconfirm. All right, so we're going to grab the value. We then apply the changes. This is going to be disconfirm. Disconfirm. And that is that. So we go ahead and close this down without saving. Go back over to GIMP. And now we're going to go ahead and add the next change, or we're going to add the next word, which is bias. Bias. So here we go. Bias, like so. Shift O to select the stroke. Go over to Inkscape. Apply the change, convert it into a pathway. And then we're going to export the pathway as bias.svg. Close the file down without saving. Go back over to GIMP. Now we need city is the next word. City. So we go in here, sit, and this one was city. All right? City. Now we did, so as a base form, city is just a single S. But, or sorry, I take that back. As the primitive form, city is going to be this value of STE, but in a suffix form, city is always just shown with a disjointed S at the end of the stroke, like veracity, propensity, audacity, those sorts of things, those sorts of words with the city ending, you would just show that with a disjointed S. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this into a pathway, and we are almost done. So really nice about that. This one is going to be city, and it's going to ask me to replace it, and that is indeed the case. I do want to replace it. Go back over here to GIMP, deselect the whole page, and our final one is Prime. Prime, as in Amazon Prime. So we're going to go P-R-I-M, like that. P-R, grab the value, boom, boom, boom. With a, oh, and then of course, a little circle inside to show that it is a diphthong. Like that. Now, with this instance, you could even do a circle inside if you wanted. It's not absolutely necessary. Just a slight jog in the line would be enough in order to show that we're dealing with a diphthong, okay? A full circle is a regular vowel, which would be pram, and if you put a little jog in there, that becomes prime. Cut the value, and we paste the value over here in Inkscape. We apply the changes, and we then export as prime, prime.svg. close the file down, close without saving, go back over to Inkscape, and that is it. That is all the words on this particular instance. So now let's go ahead and get back into the actual copywork. So like I said, we are doing Sonke Ahrens' book, How to Take Smart Notes, and hold on, let me go ahead and save the GIMP file first and close it down, and then I'm going to go and close Inkscape down, and now we are pretty much ready to go. So let me go ahead and change the view over in OBS. Where is that? There we go. All right, let me make sure that I have Zernal pulled up. And once Zernal is pulled up, then we will be ready to go. All right, so let's go ahead and move on over here. Zoom in. And we're ready. Let's go ahead and have the website pulled up over here. Let me make sure that everything is selected with the correct value. Open Zernal. Make sure that Zernal is being shown. We will share that. And then we'll also make the website, make sure that the website is also showing the current view for Gregg Shorthand Lookup. And we apply the change. We are ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten in. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize OBS. We've got the chat pulled up. Now, let's see here. Oh, come on. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are currently on page 79, and we're going to do, this is the second paragraph down. Here we go. The slip box forces us to be selective in reading. So we have the slip box forces us, so forces us, so we go forces us to be selective in reading. Selective is going to be S. It might just be cell for select, and then cell, and then tiv. Let's take a look at selective and figure out what the value is going to be. So we go over here, we type in selective. And that is indeed what it is. The only difference is that we need to have an E stroke in between the T and the V. So we go selective, like so. All right? To be selective in reading and note-taking. In reading and note-taking. But the only criterion is the question. But the only, and then criterion. Criterion, let's see if that's a word. Criterion. It is, excellent. So we use cry and then terion. Zoom, oh, we need to add another page below this. HTTS in number 10, page 10. Okay. Here we go. Center it on the page. But the only criterion, so we're going to do criterion down here. We go cry, and then on, criterion, like so. Terion. Is the question of whether, is the question of whether something adds to a discussion in the slip box is it's of, and then whether, whether something adds to a discussion in the slip box. To a discussion in the slip box. Okay? And whether something adds to a discussion in the slip box. So we go whether something adds to a discussion in the slip box. And that one was period. The only thing that matters is that it connects or is open to connections. The only thing that matters, the only thing that matters, if you're going to do plural, do you have to use the R? No, there's nothing. So I think we could just do an S attached to the mats. So we go, the only thing that matters is that it connects or is open to connection. The only thing that matters is that it connects or is open to connection, or is open to connections. Period. And the whole section connects to starts at connects or is open to connections. Everything can contribute to the development of thoughts. Everything can contribute. So this one would be contribute. Contribute to the development of thoughts. To the development of thoughts. Within the slip box. Within the slip box. An addition as well as a contradiction. An addition as well as a contradiction. The questioning of a seemingly obvious idea. The questioning of, and then seemingly, this is going to be, see if I've got this. Seemingly go ahead and check and see if that is correct. Seemingly. I am not all I seem to be. That's unseemly. Seemingly. Ah, yes. Ugh. It's just a circle underneath. It's just a circle. Just a circle, I tell you. Seemingly. Obvious idea as well as the differentiation of an argument. Seemingly, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We go obvious idea, colon, as well as the differentiation of an argument, as well as the differentiation. So we go diff. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. We go differ, and then we need initiation. Differ, initiation. How would you do that? That would be initiation. Differentiation, maybe? Let's take a look and see if that is anywhere close. And, well, I mean, it's in the ballpark, but the we need shiation. So similar to what we did with, or what was the previous word? We did, what was that? Which one of those words was that? It was, oh yes, potentiation. So you remember, differentiation follows the same principle. So we go differentiation. And moving forward, as well as the differentiation of an argument, of an AGM. Agam. It's a fun shorthand or fun brief form. Period. What we are looking for are facts and information. So we go, what we are looking for are facts and information. For are facts and information that can add something and therefore enrich the slip box. That can add something and therefore enrich the slip box. Okay. One of the most important, something has to be underlined. One of the most important habitual changes, one of the most important, now habitual is going to be habitual. Habitual, let's see if that is correct. So we're going to go habitual, and that is indeed correct. So we just put a dot there. One of the most important habitual changes, zoom down here, and changes is here. When starting to work with the slip box, when starting to work with the slip box, is moving the attention from the individual project, is moving the attention, so that's attention. Is that really all that? Hold on, I'm confusing that. So that's correct. That is indeed correct. So we're going to go ahead and move this up here. So 10 shen, like so, is moving the attention from the individual project, and then individual. So that's oh, we did this one. This one was individual. individual, right? Let's check it and see. Individual. It's even easier. You don't even have to have the L. It is just the individ and then jul. Individ. There we go. Project with our preconceived notions is moving the attention from the individual project. So we go project with our preconceived notions with our, here's preconceived again, preconceived. Check that out. Beautiful. Preconceived notions. No. Ideas, not notions. Ideas towards the open connections within the slip box. Towards. So we go towards, make a little bit more space, towards the open, make this just a little curve, towards the open connections within the slip box. It's the open connections within the slip box. And that's the end of the paragraph. So now I'm going to go back through, first after I have a little sip of the water. Now I'm going to go back and read through the whole thing again. So we're going to go back up to the top, zoom, find out where our paragraph marker is, right here. And this is, we're looking for the slip box, which is right here. All right, grab our little highlighter, boom, boom. Here we go. The slip box forces us. Let's fix the us right there. Forces us to be selective in reading and note-taking. But the only criterion is the question of whether something adds to a discussion in the slip box. That only is that thought? That only thing that matters. I just undid something. What was that? Oh, it was the paragraph marker. There we go. The only thing that matters is that it connects or is open to connections. Everything can contribute to the development of thoughts within the slip box. An addition is less, is that right? An addition, let me check addition. Yes, so an addition, is less? As well, an addition, as well as, that's, okay, of course. If you have SLS, that's as well as. An addition as well as a contradiction. The questioning of a seemingly obvious idea, as well as the differentiation of an argument. What we are looking for are facts and on unform information and information that can that can add something and therefore enriches the slip box. One of the most important habitual changes when starting to work with the slip box is moving the attention from the individual project with our preconceived ideas towards the open connections within the slip box. All right. So that takes care of this paragraph, and moving on to the next one, connections within the slip box. After aligning our interests, we can go a step further. So we have after. Okay. After aligning, so we have aligning. Aligning. I mean, I'm thinking that it's just A-L-A-N, right? Now in this instance, we might have to do maybe aligning. But let's see. A-L-I-G-N. No need. There is no need for the diphthong. I'm not going to change it, though. I'm going to leave it. After aligning our interests, we can go a step further and prime ourselves. We can go a step further. Further? Is that further? I think so. Yes. We can go a step further and prime ourselves for seeking out and prime ourselves for seeking out disconfirming facts. Disconfirming facts. Period. Collecting only one-sided ideas wouldn't be very enriching. So we go collecting one-sided ideas wouldn't be very enriching. Wouldn't be very, and then enriching. Collecting only one-sided ideas. I forgot that. Collecting only one-sided ideas. We could actually add it. Let me just clean this up here. So collecting only one-sided ideas would not be very enriching. Yes, we have to be selective. So yes, we, yes is a loop and then an S, I think. Yes. And that we goes up here. We have to be selective. And selective. Make that just a little. but not in terms of pros and cons. But not in terms of pros and cons. Comma, but in terms of relevant or irrelevant. But in terms of relevant and oh, how are we going to do this? We go irrelevant. Period. And as soon as we focus on the content, and as soon as we focus on the, and as soon as we focus on the content of the slip box, disconfirming data becomes suddenly very attractive. Disconfirming data, so for that we need a new line down here. Disconfirming data becomes suddenly very attractive. Becomes suddenly, so that would be suddenly. There we go. Suddenly. And that's it. Becomes suddenly very, and then attractive. A-T-R-tive. Let's see if that's correct. So we go attractive. Let's see if that's it. Attractive. Okay. It was just the R and then it curves around. The R and then it curves. Beautiful. So we'll fix that again. We go ATR and then it curves up and goes back around to the V. So that is attractive. That is attractive. What was that? Yeah. No one important. Good. All right, so let's continue. Let's continue. Where was I? Attractive. Suddenly becomes very attractive because it opens up more possible connections. Because it opens up more possible connections. Opens up more possible connections and discussions within the slip box. And discussions, what was it? Discussions among? No, discussions within. Discussions within the slip box. There we go. While mere confirming data does not. That is so interesting. While mere confirming data, so we go confirming data, does not. Does not. All right. It becomes easier to seek out disconfirming data. It becomes easier to seek out disconfirming data. becomes easier to seek out disconfirming data with practice. With, and then prac is just PRK. With practice, and can become quite addictive. That's an addiction I could get behind. And can become quite addictive. Let's see, addictive would be A-D, addic, and then tiv. Let's see if that's correct. Addictive is not one of the words, but we do have addict, we have addiction, and addictive would be a variant of that. So we could just do yep, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So let's go ahead and add that to the lineup. Addictive. Addictive, okay? And we'll call that there, all right? What we are looking for, it can become quite addictive. Let's see here. Dun dun dun, there's journal. All right, it can become quite addictive. The experience of how one piece of information, so end of sentence, the experience of how one piece of one piece of information can change the whole perspective, can change the whole, and then perspective is P, let's see, this is PRSPTV, perspective. Perspective. Oh, that's right. It's a disjointed V. It's a disjointed V. So we're going to go PRSPV for perspective. Can change the whole perspective on a certain problem is exciting. The experience of how one piece of information can change the whole perspective on a certain problem is exciting. On a certain problem is exciting. Exciting. Is this exciting? Exciting, or is it just exciting? Let's take a look and see. Exciting. Okay, well, first of all, it flips around, and it is only one S value. So we go exciting, like so. Oi. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. This is problem is exciting. Problem is exciting. Period. Dot, 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 dot. And the more diverse the content of the slip box, and the more diverse, so we go diverse, maybe not quite, maybe it's curved up just a little bit more. Diverse. Wait, no, verse curves back on itself, right? Is that, hoi, let's see here. Diverse? Let's check that. Diverse. Oh, nope, it's a div and then S. Diverse. Div. Diverse. All right. I will be back shortly. Give me just 1 second. I would say duty calls, but no, nature calls. All right, so I'll be back. Alrighty, back at it. Let us proceed. So now, grab my pen. Got that, got that. We are ready to go, ready to go. Let's go back over to the website, have that pulled up. All right, and now we Mosid prune. Mosid prune. Okay, so we had just done diverse. The experience of how one piece of information can change the whole perspective on a certain problem is exciting. And the more diverse the content of the slipbox, and the more diverse the content of the slip box, while mere the further it can bring our thinking forward. The more diverse the content of the slip box is, comma, the further it can bring our thinking forward. The further it can bring our thinking forward. Forward. Period. No, hyphenated. Provided we haven't decided on the direction up front. Provided we haven't. So, provided we haven't come up, or is it come up? Provided we haven't decided. Provided we haven't decided. Decided is this stroke here. Decided on the direction up front. Period. Oh, up front is one word, so we need to do that here. That's right. Up front. Oh, F front isn't it FRNT? It does require, I think it's more than just front. F, and then it's up, and then FRNT. FRNT. Let me check and see if that is correct. So we're going to go up front. Didn't I add that? Just, oh, hold on. What's front? Ah, I need to fix up front then. That is a mistake. All right, because front is FRNT. There we go. Let's see here. Contradictions within the slip box can be discussed, so that's a period, and then contradictions within the slip box can be discussed on follow-up notes. Can be discussed, so we're going to go discussed. I think that's already in there, so we go discussed. Let me double check. Yes, yes. And then there's discussion. So let's see. Boom, drop this here. Can be discussed. On follow-up notes or even in the final paper. On follow up. Is that hyphenated? Yes. Follow up notes or even in the final paper. Even in the final paper. Period. It is so much easier to develop an interesting text. It is so much easier to develop an interesting text. Next page. An interesting text from a lively discussion with a lot of pros and cons. From a lively discussion with a lot of pros and cons. Then from a collection of one-sided notes. Then from a collection of one, and let's move the page down here a little bit, of one, let's add a page below. This is page 11, so we're going to go H, T, T, S, in, section 10 still, page 11. Save. Here we go, back up here. From a collection of one-sided notes and seemingly fitting quotes. And seemingly fitting quotes. Check and see if that's quotes. Yep. Cheers. All right. Seemingly fitting quotes. What do we do now? Fitting. Here we go. Okay. Period. In fact, it is almost impossible to write anything. In fact, it is almost impossible to write anything. In fact, it is almost impossible to write anything, and that's anything interesting and worth publishing. Interesting and worth publishing. Is publishing PB with a dot, I think, right? So if we go to publish, yes, and then publishing would just have a dot. Anything interesting and worth publishing, and therefore, make the dot here for interesting a little bigger, and therefore motivating. So, and therefore motivating, right over here. Motivating. Oh, nope, I take that back. We do have to have a little change at the base. So we have motivating, like so. Like a so. Check motivating. Motivate. Yes, excellent. What now? And therefore motivating. If it is based on nothing else than an idea. If it is based on nothing else than an idea. If it is based on an idea, we are able to come up with upfront. We were able to come up with upfront. We were able to come up with upfront before elaborating on the problem. Before elaborating on the problem. Elaborating on the problem. And that's the end of the paragraph. So now we go back and we read through. Zoom out, zoom over, and back in. Let's see if we can find our paragraph marker. And the one I'm looking for is after aligning our interests. That was the paragraph. So we're looking for after aligning our interests. After, AF. Was it even earlier? Paragraph marker. Oh, there he is. After aligning. Beauteous. Here we go. After aligning our interests, we can go a step further and prime ourselves for seeking out disconfirming facts, collecting only one-sided disconfirming facts. Here's a new sentence. Collecting only one-sided ideas wouldn't be very enriching. Yes, we have to be selective, but not in terms of pros and cons. Not in terms of pros and cons, but in terms of relevant and irrelevant. Let me look up irrelevant to see if it does have the extra E. Irrelevant. Oh, it's just an E vowel added to the R. Okay, so we're gonna go irrelevant, like so. All right, irrelevant, and relevant and irrelevant. Where's that? And as soon as, that's right. And as soon as, yep, we focus on the content of the slip box, the almighty slip box, disconfirming data becomes, is that become or becomes? I know, because data is plural. Disconfirming data becomes, yeah. Becomes, not certainly, what is that? Becomes suddenly very attractive because it opens up more possible connections and discussions within the slip box, while mere confirming data does not. It becomes easier, this should be a plural as well, it becomes easier to seek out disconfirming data with practice, and can become quite addictive. The experience of what? Of how. Forgot a dot there. Can't forget the aspirate. Of how one piece of information can change the whole perspective on what was that, on a certain, yeah, that's certain. Let's go to clean it up just a little bit. On a certain, there we go, on a certain problem is, what is that? It is exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. Here we go. And the more diverse the content of the slipbox is, the further it can bring our thinking forward, provided we have not decided on the direction up front. Contradictions within the slipbox can be discussed on follow-up notes, or even in the final paper. It is so much easier to develop an interesting text from a variety, from a lively discussion with a lot of pros and cons than from a collection of one-sided notes and seemingly fitting quotes. In fact, it is almost impossible to, and I just changed something and I have no idea what it is, so let me see if I can redo the change. There we go. It is almost impossible to write anything interesting and worthwhile and worthy. Is it worthy of publishing? What is that? Worthy of, and worth publishing, not worthy. And worth publishing, and therefore what? And therefore motivating if it is based on an idea we were able to come up with up front before elaborating on the problem. Oh, good sentence. Wow. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep on going. So what was that? The slip box. The slip box is pretty agnostic about the content it is fed. Here's our next paragraph. The slip box is pretty agnostic about the content it is fed. The slip box is pretty, and then agnostic. Agnostic. Is that agnostic? Let's take a look. Nope, they are disjointed. So we have agnon, agn, and then stick ending. So we have agn A-G-N-S-T. Agnostic. Is pretty agnostic about the content it is fed. About the content it is fed. It just prefers relevant notes. It just prefers, let's see, we have prefer. Was that P-R-E-F? See if that's the case. It just yeah, good. It just prefers relevance notes. Relevant notes. And that is hyphenated for relevant. It is after reading and collecting relevant data. It is after collecting, it is after reading. It is after reading and collecting relevant data. Connecting thoughts and discussing how they fit together. So, comma. Connecting thoughts and discussing how they fit together. Thoughts and discussing how they fit together. That it is time to draw conclusions and develop a linear structure. That it is time to draw conclusions, right? Was conclusion? I think conclusions is shorter, isn't it? Is it KS? KS, I think, is conclusions. Let's take a look. KKSH. Okay. To draw. Let's see here. Conclusions, KSH, and then the S underneath. And develop a linear structure for the argument. And develop a linear structure for the argument. That was the end of the paragraph, so now let's go back to the beginning, which is the slip box is pretty agnostic. So we're going to grab that. Where's that? The slip box is pretty agnostic. There it is. The slip box is pretty agnostic about the content it is fed. It just prefers relevant notes. It is after reading and collecting relevant data, connecting thoughts and discussing, right? If that's the case, we need to make the D a little bit longer. And discussing how they fit together, that it is time to draw connections and develop a linear structure for the argument. for the argument, AGM. All right. Now we get to 10.3, get the gist. Okay, so we're going to zoom down here. 10.3, get the gist. 10.3, get the gist. Next line. Should also be the beginning of a line here. Get the gist. The ability to distinguish relevant from less relevant information. The ability to distinguish relevant from irrelevant from less relevant. So to distinguish relevant from less relevant, from less relevant information, is another skill that can be learned by doing, is another skill that can only be learned by doing, is another skill that can only be learned by doing. It is the practice of looking for the gist. It is the practice of looking for the gist. It's the practice of looking for the gist and distinguishing it from mere supporting details. And distinguishing it, so this one would be distinguishing it from mere supporting details. Mere supporting details. As we are forced to make this distinction when we read with a pen in our hand, as we are forced to make this distinction, what was distinction? I'm not sure I remember distinction. Let's go take a look at it. Oh, distinction. There we go. So it's like distinguish. Distinction. Okay. We are forced to make this distinction when we read with a pen in our hand. When we read with a pen in our hand. So what is distinguish? If that's distinction, what is distinguish? Okay. Only difference between distinguish and distinction is a shun. Good to know. In our shorthand. And write permanent note after permanent note. And write permanent note after permanent note. It is more than a mere practice, comma. It is more than a mere practice. It is deliberate practice, repeated. It is more, so that was note. It is more than a mere practice, colon. You can almost hear him have a change in the tone. It is deliberate practice, repeated multiple times a day. It is deliberate practice, repeated multiple times a day. Rep, I think it's just rep, and then that for repeat. Rept. No, it does require it's RP and then E. Repeated time, multiple times a day. Repeated that's multi, and then pull times a day. Check multiple. That's correct, good. Multiple times a day. Extracting the gist of a text or an idea. Extracting, so extracting the gist of a text or an idea. The gist of a text or an idea, and giving an account in writing, and giving an account. So that should be AKNT, right? AKNT, an account, giving an account in writing is for academics what daily practice on the piano is for pianists. Extracting the gist of a text or an idea and giving an account in writing, is for academics, is for academics what daily practice on the piano is for pianists. What daily practice on the piano is going to be, I've never done piano before, so let's see. That's piano. Okay, so it just flips around on the back and then you put a dot through it. On the piano. On the piano is for pianists. Is for pianist. Pianists. The more often we do it, so this is colon, the more often we do it, the more virtuous we become. The more often we do it, and the more focused we are, and the more focused we are, the more virtuous we become, comma, the more virtuous we become, the more virtuous we become. Okay, let's go ahead and read back that paragraph. It's the beginning of 10.1 or 10.3. Jump back over here, go up, find 10.3, start in. Let us begin. Okay. And the title here is Get the Gist. The ability to distinguish, no, to, it's not distinguish, to, yeah, that is distinguish. To distinguish relevant from less relevant information is another skill that can only be learned by doing. It is the practice of looking for, so we need to do a dot there for looking, of looking for the gist and distinguishing it from mere supporting details. What's that? That is with no mere supporting details. As that should be an as. So we're going to go ahead and straighten that up here. We're going to go as we are focused, as we are forced to make this distinction when we read. That should be a we, right? When we read with a pen in our hand and write permanent note after permanent note. It is more than a mere practice. It is deliberate practice. It is deliberate practice repeated multiple times a day. Multiple times a day, extracting the gist of a text or an idea and getting an account and giving an account and writing, what is that? And giving an account in writing. So this should be in writing is for academics what daily, is that daily? Yes. What daily practice on the piano is for pianists. The more often we do it and the more focused we are, the more virtuous we become. Okay. Patterns that help us navigate texts and discourses is our next section. So we have patterns that help us navigate. Patterns is going to be, I would do partons, but I know it's not that. So I think it's going to be patterns, right? Patterns. P-A-T-P-A-T-N. Yes. Patterns. Patterns that help us navigate texts. Patterns that help us navigate navigate see if that's correct. Navig, so in NVG that help us navigate texts and discourses. Texts. Well, that should, oh, hold on. Texts like that. Yeah, that should be a slight curve because there is a T in there. So texts and discourses and discourses. Let's see if that's discourses. Yep. And discourse as are not only theories, are not only theories, are not only theories, concepts, or the respective terminology, concepts, or the respective terminology, or the, and then respective is R, S, Pec, respective, R-E-S-P-K-T-V. Let's check that. Respective. Nope, it's R-E-S and then a disjointed V. It's good to know. So we have respective. Oh, that makes sense because respect. Oh, oh. Are the respective, or the respective, yeah, or the respective and then terminology. So termin, we can do term, and then ology would just be the O turned on its side, right? Terminology. Terminology. Yep, and the O needs to be turned in the opposite direction. Here we go. Terminology. But also typical mistakes we automatically scan. But also typical mistakes we automatically scan an argument for, comma. So that's a comma after terminology. But also typical mistakes. So typic is that typical? TP and then the call ending, right? Yes. The only difference is that in this particular word, we have to go tip, T-E-P, and then K. But also typical mistakes we automatically scan an argument for. But also typical mistakes takes, we, and then automatically scan an argument for, good. General categories we apply. Let's try this again. General, is that correct? I don't think so. No, I've done this one. General is just Gen. So we're gonna go general, what is that? General categories we apply, and categories is katag, right? It's katag. Katag. And then add the S on the end of that. Let's check that. Category. It's kateg. Kateg. Categories, general categories we apply. We, and then apply underneath. We have apply, so apply. There we go. We apply written styles that indicate a certain school of thought. Written styles that indicate. So that would be indicate. Was that indic? Indic, I think, for indicate? Nope, not quite. Indicate, yep. That indicate a certain school of thought or mental models that indicate a certain school of thought or mental models or mental, next line down, models we learn or develop from different insights. So we learn or develop from different insights and can collect like a great ever-increasing set of thinking tools, and can collect like a great, great and ever increasing set, is it set? Oh, yep, set of thinking tools. Set of thinking tools. And I think tools does require, it's not tools, I think it does require a U hook at the top. So let's check that. Yes, slightly. Here we go, come on. Here we go. Tools. Without these tools and reference points, so here's our period, and we go without these tools and reference points, and reference points. I think that one goes, yes, like this. Points. For point, no professional reading or understanding would be possible, comma, so we go no, and then professional is professional. Straighten that up a little bit. We go professional reading or understanding would be possible. No professional reading or understanding would be possible. We would read every text in the same way, like a novel. New line underneath. This is page 12, so how to take smart notes. Still section 10, page 12. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty, back at it. Let me grab my glasses. Once I find them. Once again. Oh. Hold on. Ah, they're there. Okay. Let us proceed. Here we go. Alrighty. Da da dum bum bum ba da da bum 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 bum. Da 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 dun dun. Moving back over here. Alright, so let's zoom back over. Continue the writing. We had just done professional writing would not be possible. Okay? Now let's go ahead and make the P just a little bit more pronounced. Possible. We would read every text in the same way, like a novel. We would read every text in the same way. Every text in the same way. Like a novel. That's colon. Like a novel. Novel. And then period. But with the learned ability of spotting patterns, but with the learned ability of spotting patterns, we can enter the circle of virtuosity. Sounds almost cultic in a way. We can enter the circle of virtuosity. We can enter. The circle, when it's by itself, is the full name, so that's going to be circle. When it's disjointed, it is just an S. Check that. Oh, okay, very nice. It's just sickle. So we can just take the S value, curve it up over the top. There's circle. We can enter the circle of virtuosity. And virtuosity is going to be virtuo and then city. Let's take a look and see if that's correct. So we go virtuosity. Virtuous. Oh, virtuous is virtuous. Where was that? Virtuous up here, right? Where is our virtuous? Virtuous. Ah, there we go. Like the lady is virtuous. Oh, so virtuous. Okay, here we go. Virtuos. And we need to have a little line under there to show virtuo. Oh, no, that's virtuoso. Oh, wait a second. Virtuous was correct. The only thing is they want two hooks. So we're going to go virtuous. And then virtuosity is virtuo, and then a disjointed city. So we're going to go virtu and then city. Virtuosity. We can enter the circle of virtuosity. Reading becomes easier. We grasp the gist quicker. So, this is colon. Reading becomes easier. Next line above. Here we go. Reading becomes easier. we grasp the gist quicker. We grasp the gist quicker. Let's see if that is quicker. Oh, go over here to our search, grab the whole value. Yes, we have to do the little line underneath to show that it is a W. Quicker. We grab the gist quicker. We can read more in less time. Can read more in less time. And can more easily spot patterns, comma, and can more easily, so it's easily is this value, easily, and can more easily spot patterns, S-P-O-T, and then patterns, and improve our understanding of them, and improve our understanding of them. And along the way, we increase our set of thinking tools. And along the way, we can, no, it's not we can, it is we increase. And along the way, we increase our set of thinking tools, which will not only help with academic work, which will not only help with academic work, but with thinking and understanding in general. But with thinking and understanding in general. This is why Berkshire Hathaway Vice Chairman Charlie Munger, this is why Berkshire Hathaway, so that one would be Berk and then Sure. What would Sure be? Berkshire, Berk, and then Shu, Hathaway. Hathaway is going to be Hathaway. Yep, Hathaway. Vice chairman, I think, might be a brief form. I think there's one for it because it's a term that was used a lot. Vice chair. No. Serviceable. What else? Visceral service. Yeah, nothing there. So we're going to go vice and then chairman. There's chairman. Chairman. Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger. So that is Charlie Munger, and Munger is going to be Munger, like that. Describes as worldly wise. So that is describes as worldly wise, someone who has a broad set of these tools. Someone, so here we go, someone who has a broad set of these tools. Who has, broad is B-R, yeah, I think I added that one. A broad set of these tools and knows how to apply them. And knows how to apply them. To apply them. And that's the end of the paragraph. Let's go back through. Patterns that help us navigate texts and discourses. Go back to that section. Looking for patterns, or also just looking for the paragraph marker. There, that's the previous one. So we're going to go down here, and we're looking for, we are looking for our next paragraph marker, or also anything that says patterns. That is patterns. There it is. So let's go ahead and drop a paragraph marker, and we start. So patterns that help us navigate texts and and discourses are not only theories, concepts, right? Are not only theories, concepts, or the respective terminology. Concepts or the respective terminology. Let me check concepts. And that is correct. Concepts, yeah, or terminologies, but also STEM. This is STP, but also typical mistakes we automatically scan an argument for. General categorical, is that categorical? Categories. General categories of applying. General categories we apply. Written styles that indicate a certain school of thought, or mental models we learn are developed, or mental models we learn or develop from different insights and can collect, like what of tools, like an ever increasing, like a great, and this one needs to make the G just a little longer, like a great and ever increasing set of thinking tools. Without these tools and references and reference, without these tools and reference points, no professional reading or no professional reading or understanding would be possible. You would read every text in the same way, like a novel. Let me check novel to make sure that's not shortened. It is. There is no L, so we can go ahead and clean that up here. Like a novel. Like a novel. Okay? But with the learned ability of spotting patterns, we can enter the SKL. We can enter the circle. We can enter the circle of virtuosity. Next paragraph. School of virtuosity. Reading becomes easier. We grasp the gist quicker. Can read more in less time, and can move and can more easily spot patterns and improve our understanding of them. And along the way, we increase. Yeah, we increase our set of thinking tools, which will, and that should be, because that looks like an SH, so let's make that a little longer. Which will not only help. This is a help sign, so we do H. Will not only help with academic work, but with thinking and understanding in general. This is what Berkshire Hathaway Vice Chairman Charlie Munger, and I forgot to make this a proper noun, Charlie Munger describes, yes, describes, I need to look that up, describes. Where is describe? Describe. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so description and describe are the same. All right. Whew. Describes as worldly wise. Let me go ahead and check worldly. One should not be worldly. But I saw it. Worldly. Yep, it has a dot or it has a circle underneath. So worldly wise. Someone who has a broad set of these tools and knows how to apply them. Boom. All right. Yes. Now moving on. But first, a drink to our success. Water. Okay. Moving on. So then, but this dynamic can only start if we ourselves deliberately decide. Here we go. But this, and now dynamic. I don't know if I've done dynamic before. Let's see. This one would be dynamic. Looks a little bit too much, but let's go take a look. A. Okay. All right. All right. That's exactly what it is. So we can add that down below. So we'll do dynamic. Dynamic. But this dynamic can only start if we ourselves. But this dynamic can only start if we ourselves, and that is underscored, deliberately decide to take on the task. So we have deliberately, and let me check and make sure that that is deliberate. Deliberate. Yes, yes. The only difference is that we change this so that it goes D and then LE and then the E on the end. Okay? So we have deliberately. If we ourselves deliberately decide, so we go to decide to take on the task of reading. On the task of reading. And being selective about it. And being, now selective we've done, it was selective about it. So I want to check selective, make sure that's working. Selective. Beautiful. Curves down. Oh, that's right. We don't really make it a T. It's just selective, and then it's a KV. So we go selective like that about it. Comma. Relying on nothing other than our own judgment. So we go relying on nothing more than our own judgment. On nothing more than our own judgment is judgment, I think, right? Judgment. Relying on nothing more than our own judgment of what is important. Of what is important. Important. And what is not. And what is not. Textbooks or secondary literature. So we go text. I think this is going to have to go up here. So we go text, books, or secondary literature, or secondary. So we go secondary. Airy? Secondary? Let's take a look. All right, so it's just a matter of adding an RE. RE on the end. So let's move this down here. We're going to go secondary. Textbooks or secondary literature in general. So now we're going to go literature in general. Cannot take this off our hand. In general, cannot take this off. Off Does it curve the other way? Why can't I think? My brain's going funny. What is off? Like often. Yeah, curves curves on the other side. Ah, I don't know. My brain's starting to do some funny things right now. This off. Let's see here. In general, cannot take this off our hand. Like so. Hand. Okay. Hands. Hands, comma. And students who solely rely on them have no chance. And students and students who who rely on them, who solely rely on them, and students who solely, we have to do solely first, so we're going to go solely rely on them, have no chance of becoming, quote, worldly wise. Have no chance of becoming, I need a new line, right? Of becoming, quote, worldly wise. Close quote. Close sentence as well. Oh, this is not far off from what philosopher Immanuel Kant. This is not far off from what Immanuel Kant. Immanuel. So that would be let's see if I can figure this out. Emmanuel. Emmanuel. There we go. Here we go. Let's try it again. Man. Kant. And we have to do Kant. Nice and easy. Described in his famous text from the Enlightenment. Described in his famous, right? Or is it famous? Let's look it up. Famous, and it has to curve down a little more. In his famous. Yes, famous. In his famous text about the Enlightenment. Text about the Enlightenment. And this is enlighten. So this is going to be enlightenment. Maybe? Let's look up enlightenment. Enlightenment. There we go. Oh, beautiful. It's just enlighten. All right. Enlightenment. Here we go. Enlightenment. K colon. Nonage, immaturity. Oh, like a baby. Nonage. Here's his quote. Now, nonage is non-age. Bet you that term is not even in the dictionary. I hate to almost look it up, but let's see here. Nonage. Nonagerian, that's for a 90-year-old. But that is nonage. All right. I will add it later. Nonage. That's a cute term. That is a very cute term. And then he gives, so Sonke Ahrens gives the definition for nonage, which is immaturity, and immaturity is going to be immature, itty? Would that be? Let's see if I can do this. Immaturity. Let's see if that's close. Immature, and then immaturely, immature itty. Immature itty. Let's see here. What happens if you go itty? Look up ity. All of these are just going to be ty. Oh, I know what we need to do. Rty. RTY. Okay. So we have, oh, there it is. Oh, of course. If it's a brief form, then you can do RTY, immature, and then a disjointed R, immaturity. Yes, beautiful. Whoa, what? Yep. Oh boy, all right. I think I'm getting tired. When I start to enjoy myself or start having a little bit of a happy dance about a brief form, I'm probably cracked at this point. All right, so let's see, where was that? Immaturity is the inability to use one's own understanding. Is the inability. So we're going to do inability to use one's own understanding. To use one's own understanding. Nonage, immaturity, is the inability to use one's own understanding without another's guidance. Without another's guidance. This nonage is self-imposed. Ooh, that's good. This nonage is and then self-imposed. Self-imposed. Let's check and see. I'm pretty sure that's in the dictionary. Nope, it's not. So what is imposed? Imposed. Superimposed and self-imposed. Okay? So that means that we can do self-imposed. So, and then I'm going to add that to the dictionary later. So we have self and then imposed, like so. Let me add that later. Self-imposed. All right. This nonage is self-imposed if its cause lies not in a lack of understanding. Is self-imposed if its, and this can actually go together, so if its cause lies not, if its cause lies not in lack of understanding, in lack of understanding, but in indecision and lack of courage, but in indecision. So this is indecision. So we go how best to do this one? And then it curves around, and that's decision. I know that, but let's look up indecision. Indecision. Yes, yep, it goes int and then scission. So we go int, scission, indecision, and lack of courage. And lack of courage. That's K-R-J, courage. Let's check and make sure there's no A needed. Correct. Courage of courage. But in indecision and lack of courage to use one's own mind. To use one's own mind without another's guidance. Without another's guidance. Dare to know. Oh boy, what a phrase. Dare to know. Dare to know! Exclamation point. And then he gives the Latin. Sapere aude. Sapere aude. That's the actual sentence, and then below it's in parentheses. Sapere aude. Sapere aude. Aude. And that's Latin, so I'm just going to underline it. Sapere aude. Have the courage to use your own understanding. Oh, no. Dare to know. And dare to know. Sapere aude. Have the courage to use your own understanding. Comma. So another line. Have the courage. Wow, I love this line. Have the courage to use your own understanding. To use your own understanding is therefore the motto of the Enlightenment. Is therefore the motto. So motto of the, and we just did enlightenment, so we'll do it down here. Enlightenment. That's capitalized. Okay, and close sentence. This was Kant, 1784. Kant, 1784. All right, moving right along. Oi. So let's see here. Let me go back. Done. Yep, 15 minutes left. Let's go ahead and read through this paragraph, and we'll do as much of the next one as we can. Zoom out. Go back up here to the last paragraph, which is but this dynamic. Here we go. Okay, lined up. Grab our little marker. But this dynamic can only start if we deliberate, if we what? Ourselves if we ourselves deliberately decide to take on the task of reading and being being selective about it, realizing our realizing, is that realizing? Relying on nothing more than our own judgment of what? Check judgment out. Let's see. Judge. Oh, really? Judgem. Oh, okay. Judgment. There it is. Yep. Judgment of what? Here we go. Judgment of what is important and what is not. Textbooks or secondary literature, not what? In general, cannot take this what? Off, cannot take this off our hands, and students who solely rely on them have no chance of. Let me see what rely. I want to check on that one. Rely. Check rely again. Rely. Boom. Yes, it does need an E, but I'm not going to worry about that now. So rely on them, have no chance of, next line down, of becoming worldly wise. This is not far off from what Immanuel Kant described in his famous text about the Enlightenment, and this should be double, or it should be a proper noun, about the Enlightenment. Quote, nonage, meaning immaturity, is the inability to use one's own understanding without another's guidance. This nonage is self-imposed, if it is what? Is self-imposed if its cause lies in not in lack of understanding, but in indecision and lack of courage. To use, is that to use? No, to what? To use. Yeah, in indecision and lack of courage to use one's own mind without another's guidance. Dare to know. And then it's the sapere aude. Have the courage to use your own understanding is therefore the motto of the Enlightenment. Kant, 1784. Okay. Oh, what a phrase, what a phrase. Okay, 9 minutes left. Let's go ahead and get started. I suggest Lumen, okay, and then he has a quote here from Lumen. I suggest taking this literally. So this is back to Sonke's words. So let's grab a paragraph marker and drop another line. So we have, I suggest taking this literally. So we have I, and then suggest is, I believe it's S-U-G or S-U-J. Let's look up. Oh, S-O. S-O. In fact, let's go ahead and do these two together because you can do I suggest. Taking this literally. I suggest taking this and then literally. So we go literal E. Is that right? No, literal is actually the I always confuse this one. It goes literal. Yes, okay, I think I got it. We go litally, right? Let's check and see. Literally. Yes. No need for the middle E. So let's try that again. Literally. Period. The ability to use one's own understanding. Here we go. The ability to use one's own understanding is a challenge, not a given. Is a challenge, comma, not a given. Let me go ahead and check given. Good. Given. It's not a given. Period. And then it's Lumen stresses the importance. So we go Lumen and then stresses. Stresses. Try it again. Stresses the importance of permanent notes in this regard. The importance. Is that the same as important? I'm blanking there for a second. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes. Importance and important are the same term. Lumen stresses the importance of permanent notes in this regard. In this regard. Put it up. Come on. There we go. Colon. And then this is a new line. And this is going to be a long quote, so I'm going to do as much as I can, but I have 6 minutes remaining. And then it's dinner time. 6 minutes to dinner time. Oh, what was that? Yeah, nothing. Okay. All right, here we go. The problem with reading, so this is from Lumen. This is Lumen's quote. It's a block quote. The problem with reading academic texts. Here we go. The problem with reading academic texts is seems to be seems to be that we need not the short-term memory. Seems to be that we need not the short-term memory, comma, but the long-term memory. But the long-term long-term memory to develop reference points, to develop. Oh, I need to add another page below this. This is 13, so we go H, T, T, S, in, S in, page 10. Yep. No, section 10. Page 13. Bada boom, bada bang. All right, back up. Memory to what? To develop, right? Is that what it is? Yes, to develop reference points. To develop, come on, ooh. To develop reference points for distinguishing the important things from the less important. The important things from the less important. A comma. The new information from the mere repeated. The new information from the mere repeated, and repeat is RPE and then underscored. But it is of course, and that's a comma, commas surrounding of course. No, it's not. Okay. But it is of course impossible to remember everything. But it is of course impossible to remember everything. Period. That would be rote learning. Here we go. So zoom down the page a little. That would be rote learning. To put it differently, so period, to put it differently I think just has the differently. To put it differently, let me go ahead and see if that is differently. Yep, that's differently. Ouch. Okay. To put it differently, oh, is that put? That's part, but is that also put? Bada boom, bada bang, come on. Put. A little putt. Yeah, putt. Put. To put it. Oh, duh. Put it is the same as part. So if I can actually use that. So we do to put it differently. One has to read extremely selectively. So here we go. One has to read extremely, so that's extremely selectively, so that's and then tively is the disjointed V, selectively, and extract widespread and connected references, and extract, and extract widespread and connected references. Wide spread and connected references. All right. Whew. Well, that was something. That was something for sure. So that was another 3 hours. Let's see, what's the actual time here? Coming in at, yep, wow, 3 hours exactly. Okay, so we've reached the end of this session. I'm gonna go get some dinner and then be back in about 40 minutes or so to then do another couple hours before 9 o'clock. So maybe from about 7 to 9. 9 o'clock is going to be my cutoff time for studies. So I'll just pour all of my time in to that and then hopefully get started a bit earlier in the morning. So all right. Hope everyone's having a good evening. And once again, this was the session for using Gregg Anniversary Shorthand to copy How to Take Smart Notes by Sonke Ahrens, and it was an attempt to learn the skill of shorthand for the purpose of acquiring greater facility in the hand and just more efficiency. Okay? If you want to get a copy of the book, How to Take Smart Notes, it is available down below in the description, linked to an Amazon page for that. And there are some other links down there as well. The website that you've seen me use throughout the video is also it's also down in the description. And once again, just amazing thoughts that Sonke has in this book. Please do yourself a favor and also support him by going and getting a copy of the manuscript. All right, you take care and have a good evening. I will see you shortly. Bye-bye.